A very good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Jason.
Mike, tell us about Vanjamask and the form that he's in. We saw him win very convincingly last time before making the trip back across to New Zealand here.
Yeah, look, he's a horse we bought in France, and he's a really nice staying horse. Probably finally got mature now, Jason. He's taken a long time. Probably this last 12 months he's finally got mature. His run on the Melbourne Cup was on a wet track. He just doesn't like wet ground, so I was a bit disappointed to see he had a bit of rain. So that's going to be the problem for him now. If the track dries back to a 4 to 5, well, he'd probably get away with it, but any worse, he might struggle.
He was very good last time at Moonee Valley. He seems to be in good form, so obviously you feel that he is better than sort of when he presented in the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Look, we were a bit surprised he went as bad as we did the Melbourne Cup. He's coming up good form, and we're really happy with him. But Patrick Moroney rode him, he just couldn't get through the ground. His legs were spinning, and hence it made the 2 miles a bit too far from a wet ground. So, yeah, as I said, he's got very, very good form on top of the ground. We ran him in the Sandown Cup just to confirm that it wasn't the 2 miles. And he ran the 2 miles out strongly that day with a lot of weight. And it was really just the wet ground on the Melbourne Cup. So, you know, I'll just warn punters that if it just depends on what their track's doing, it's going to make the difference to them.
What was your thinking around bringing him over to New Zealand for the Barford and Thompson Auckland Cup, given the Adelaide Cup is in a couple of days on Monday? Were the conditions of this race more suitable in your eyes?
They were, yeah. Look, he had 60.5 in the Adelaide Cup and 57 in this one. So, yeah, look, all things being equal, it looks a race between him and Charles Road on paper. They're both in well at the weights, and it'll take a good up-and-coming stay to beat those two, I would think. But now the rain you've had, it might even things out and go against us a bit. But certainly it was the real conditions of the race, and the weight was the reason why we took him across.
Great to get those confidence levels about the horse himself, albeit the track conditions not being ideal. How pleased have you been with On the Rocks, though, and what you've seen from the now Herbie Dyke Group 1 winner?
I think he's probably the most underrated horse in New Zealand. When you look at his record, he's very lightly raced and always raced in the best company. I think 4 of his 5 wins have been black type. And he's a very good horse, and I think that it'll be a very interesting race here today. I would think that the rain around wouldn't lessen his chances. May improve dance stance, but yeah, he gets through it to a degree. He's sort of a bit of an all-rounder. He does get through a little bit of wet, and he's all on firm ground. So I think he's arguably the best 2,000 metre horse in New Zealand, and it'd be interesting to see how it works out today. So, but he's a lovely horse, and we have got aspirations of bringing him here across Australia if he goes well enough today.
Obviously, one of the positive traits, I mean, aside from the fact that he was very dominant at Te Rapa, he seems versatile enough at this level to be able to take a position in the run and then show that turn of foot. Those are quality traits, aren't they?
They are. Look, he's led before and won. He's come from behind and won. So he's one of those all-round sort of horses that can race anywhere and handle most conditions. So I think he's a stronger version now than what he was at 3. Like we went into the Derby with knowing we had a little bunch of sitting there and that we pretty sure he would get by. But he knuckled at the start, put himself out of the race, and then didn't get a lot of luck in running. So we stopped with the operation, took the bone chips out, and had to give him a early part of the spring for that reason. And we're here now, and he's going really well.
What are you thinking after today, assuming he comes out of it well, and he might come out of it as now 2-time Group 1 winner? What are you thinking in Australia for him? What races are you earmarking?
Well, we're pretty keen to run in the Randbet, although we're starting to hear little rumours that Winks is going to run in it now. So, you know, that'll make a bit of a decision there. But that was the race that we thought we'd run in Sydney. Would be that, and then we'd possibly trek on up to Queensland with him for a go at the Doomba Cup and the Hollandale Cup.
Yeah, great to get your thoughts on the Rocks. We've got 3 runners at Flemington today. Sound is fresh up, the son of Lando. is at big odds. In races 3 and 5, you've got Hangman and Hawker Hurricane, who are both well in commission. What can you tell us about how well you expect those horses to run?
Well, look, Sound is his first real preparation with us. I was expected to be too short for him, but he's heading for the BMW and into the Sydney Cup, so we had to get him going, and this is the only race really around for him. So I don't think he'll be that competitive in it. It would be a nice surprise if he was. But as long as he gets through the run well and we can see enough there to warrant going up to Sydney, we'll head that way. Other two horses, Hangman's coming off a very disappointing run last start. Probably the first time he's ever disappointed since we've had him. But I think he had excuses. We'd had a little bit of trouble with him during the week. We thought we had him right, so we ran him. And he obviously wasn't right because he ran well below par, but he seems good now. He's got over his problems, and we're expecting him to be pretty hard to beat. He's a really nice horse that we're trying to get to the Moroney Cup to win to qualify for the Caulfield Cup. So it's going to be up to him today. If he puts his best foot forward, I'm sure he'll be the one to beat in that. He's always shown well above average potential. And the 2-year-old, just coming off a disappointing run in the Blue Diamond. But I will say one thing, he did make up 5 lengths on them in the last 200. And they were starting to come, the way they ran the race was very hard, and the last 600 wasn't that quick. So he probably was always going to round them up a bit. But he just did surprise us that he couldn't keep in touch with them. But the 1400 metres and Flemington will really suit him, and he could turn the whole thing around, I think. I think he's very false odds. Like, he's the only one out of the Blue Diamond that's running, and Blue Diamond form is far superior to the form of the other horses in the race. So we're hoping that's always, it's usually the case. And we're hoping it's going to be the case this year, because that's the form, well, he's the only one out of the Blue Diamond, so we expect him to be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, he looks very well placed in the size produce, doesn't he? But we'll be keeping an eye on definitely Sound with regards to those key races that you mentioned interstate in New South Wales there. Michael Moroney joining us on the Punters Lounge Live. We thank him very much, and some valuable insight into On the Rocks, and also Vanjamask, who will take their places in the Bone Crusher and also in the Auckland Cup.